Dad, I'm worried. Worried that he might not find anything to sustain himself in future.
Is this about Maddie?
Yes, Dad. You know he's grown now, and out of high school.
Does he not want to further his education? I mean, something like go to college or learn a trade.
Of course, my fiancé and I are in the process of sending him off to Dan Solo University.
The same fiancé whom I think doesn't like Maddie that much?
They are getting along now.
That's good to know. But is Dan Solo not too pricey?
As a matter of fact, it is. But that's the only institution equipped with a suitable environment for the likes of Maddie.
And have you think this through with Maddie?
Yes, Dad.
In that case, you don't have to be agitated yet. There are many things people all over the world don't yet get about persons with autism. You are a medical doctor. You ought to know these things, too.
What are you talking about, Dad?
You know, in terms of getting a job, which speaks directly to your initial worries of sustenance and future, most autistic persons are arguably, if you may, logical thinkers. Also, there is remarkable heightened pattern recognition that add up to the strength in autistic individuals. Therefore, they would naturally thrive in a STEM job, that is positions in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. Of course, there are other things about autistic persons that society routinely sweeps under the carpet.
Like what, Dad?
You see, based on my years of observation, an autistic individual on a job translates to loyalty, obedience, aptitude, dedication, and the list is unending. You've lived with that fellow for some years now, and I believe you should know him better than anyone.
Oh, you are already awake? Can I take your bag? Okay, what's your name? Hi, Dr. Cho. I thought it was your day off.
It was supposed to be, but I got the pager.
Oh, I see.
That reminds me, the unconscious chap you brought in yesterday, how's he doing?
Interestingly, he stood up some minutes after you left.
Oh, that's good. So, who is he?
He hasn't said anything yet. But I've got a change of clothes and food for him.
He's probably traumatized. Give him some moment. I believe he will eventually come around.
Thank you, Dr. Cho. Anyway, I need to check a hospice patient in Ward 24. See you later.
You bet.
Dr. Roseline, how are you?
I'm good, Dr. Stan. You wanted to see me?
Oh yes. You mind sitting down?
I'm fine standing.
Fine. Now, the boy in Ward 5. I mean the one you brought in here a few days back. What's the deal with him?
He hasn't said anything yet. But luckily, he's responding to treatment.
Well, that's good to know. However, his first hospital bill is ready. Who's going to offset it, since we know nothing about him for now? And the way I see it, I'm sure it will eventually become a finders keepers situation.
It's fine. I will take care of the bill.
You mind sitting down for a second, Dr. Roseline? Thank you. Now, I need you to be frank with me. What are your real intentions for that chap? Should no one come for him? I honestly think you should call social services and get things straight.
I will keep him. If I gave him out to social services, he would end up in a foster home in due course.
Is that not the same as doing the right thing? Look, you are risking it all. That chap might be someone you would regret knowing in the end.
Well, until he speaks, there will be no need to rush into conclusions. Also, when that happens, I would appreciate it if you could help determine his mental health. Would you do that for me?
Well, as long as someone is able to offset the bills, who am I to say no? But I still insist you either hand him over to the police or the social services. I'm sure you have your life to live.
Is that all for me, Dr. Stan?
I guess so.
Hey, you are looking better already. How are you? I really like to know your name so I can help you better. Do you have a name? Well, I guess I have to get someone from the government to come get you. I will see you later.
Mati.
What did you just say?
Mati.
Maddie, right?
Yes.
I can't believe Dad still stays this late at work. You know your father. He thinks he can finish all the work in one day. That's not good. He needs to be resting more. Well, you should tell him when you meet him. You bet I will. That reminds me, the injured boy in your care, how's he doing? Matty is doing fine. He will be discharged in the coming weeks. You know his name now? Yes. But he hasn't really spoken much. The chief psychiatrist is currently helping to determine his mental health. That is very good and important. Any news about his parents or where his home might be? No, Mom. So, he will return back to the streets you picked him from? What a waste of time. Perhaps you should call government's attention. Nah. I have plans for him. You and your big heart, I hope you know what you are doing.
Your Matty is autistic.
My suspicion has been put to rest.
You still want to keep him? Because as it stands, he requires close attention that your work schedules might not favor. Why don't you just give this guy away or, better still, release him to the streets? They know how to survive that way.
That is quite unsympathetic of you, Dr. Stan. But like I said, I will do anything and everything in my power to assist Matty. Thanks for your help, and have a good evening.
Anytime, Roseline.
I always like this part of your house, Dad. It reminds me of ancient times. But it can be scary at times.
I'm glad you still like it. Your piano skills are getting better. I heard it down here and I thought an accomplished pianist had come to visit us. Did you go back for piano lessons?
It's Matty.
Matty, what with him?
He's been giving me some lessons. You need to hear that guy play the piano, Dad. In fact, since he started living with me, my stereo is useless. Can you imagine? He plays mostly classical tunes. Beethoven, Antonin Dvorak, Chopin, and a host of others.
Where did he get the skills?
I have no idea since he hardly talks.
So, you hired a nurse that takes care of him in your absence?
I did. And everything is working perfectly. Also, I have seen a school for a guy like Matty. I'm sure he will like it.
I'm happy for you, my daughter. This is who you really are. Growing up, you will often run over to some beggar on the streets and hand over any edible thing at your disposal to him. We attempted to stop you severally, but a lot of cry was all we got. So, we stopped trying. You are indeed an angel. Do what makes you happy. We will always support you. Also, we are so glad the adoption procedures are over. It takes a big heart to do what you are doing for Matty.
Thank you, Dad. I'm equally glad you guys are on board with me. It gives me balance. By the way, I was at a restaurant the other time with Matty when a boy started staring at us through the glass window. He didn't say anything. He just stared at us, but I could see Matty gaping at this guy occasionally. So, seeing how famished this guy looked, I wrapped up some of our leftover food and stepped outside to give this to him. Surprisingly, Eddie ate this food in a gulp. But when I made to go inside, Eddie wanted to say something to me.
Is he autistic, too?
No, Eddie isn't autistic. He was a regular street kid. He had a big scar on his face, just above his left eye. Also, he was smelling of alcohol and limped slightly when he walked. Lastly, Eddie wore lots of blings around his neck and wrist.
That's too bad for a kid that young.
That is true. But well, the good side about Eddie was the fact that he knew quite a lot about Matty.
I know your boy.
You mean Matty?
He was attacked by Luthen and his boys.
Luthen? But why? And who's Luthen?
I can't tell you that. They will skin me alive.
So, why did they attack Matty?
They wanted him to sell some stuff for them, but Matty turned them down. You don't turn Luthen down. Nobody does.
I see. They wanted him to peddle drugs for them, right?
Yes. Look, I've told Matty to return home, but he refused.
So, Matty has a home?
He has parents. His mother, and his stepfather, but they are no good.
Do you know his house?
I do, but it will cost you a little money. So, you are the doctor that adopted the idiot of a son?
Matty is not an idiot. Your son, or rather, your stepson is autistic. and needed to be cared for. Where is his mother?
She's out of town and won't be back soon. So, what do you really want?
Nothing more than knowing how insanely difficult it would have been for Maddie in this house. Your bad attitude speaks volume indeed.
Good. You may leave now.
I will. But remember that what goes around, comes around. I will surely come back again to see Maddie's mother.
Yes, come back a million times, but be rest assured you won't see things differently as far as this home is concerned. Maddie is a forgotten case. Just go away already.
Oh Maddie, you're here. I didn't hear you play the piano as usual. Is everything okay?
Did you see her?
Oh dear, how did you know where I went to?
Did you see her?
No. But I met your stepfather.
Is he okay? He doesn't like me.
I think he does like you, but in a different way.
He doesn't like me. Mama doesn't like me, too. No one likes me. They call me idiot. Auntie, am I an idiot?
You are not an idiot, Maddie, and I like you a lot.
Thank you, Auntie.
You are welcome. Now, I want to go and freshen up so we can have dinner. I mean, look at me closely. Does that boy look anything like me? I am 100% sure my actual baby was swapped with that idiot. Besides, autism, like you pointed out, does not run in my family. We are a family of pure blood. So, please, let him not come any close to me again. And even if he does, his father won't even accept him back. You mean his stepfather? Whatever. And speaking of father, do you know where Maddie's real father might be? That drunk. He died some years ago. I'm sorry to hear that. But has Maddie got no paternal relatives? I don't think I have time or answers to your questions. As you can see, I'm busy. I'm sorry to have bothered you, ma'am. I should be on my way. Good day.
Nice to see you. Have you been waiting for long?
About 25 minutes.
I had my hands full at the office. Let's sit for a moment.
But Dad, you are supposed to be retired.
The problem with that is I can't just sit around at home.
Then travel. Go see the world.
We will see about that. So, you wanted to see me? You sounded happy on the phone. What is it about?
Maddie is a few months from graduating from college, and there are indications he might land a good job before long. I'm basically here to thank you and Mom for your unflinching support.
This is good news. I thank God for giving you the staying power to see this whole thing through. This shows that anyone that breathes has got a soul. Does this not call for celebration?
Of course, it does, Dad.
Then go upstairs and get your mother here at once.